Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Just sitting here chewing my gum because I forgot to spit it out. Drinking my water from my lovely Support Your Local Ice Raids mug, which if you don't have our merch, now's the time. They're only burning Los Angeles. Okay? Support Your Local Ice Raids merch at saramerch.com. And maybe I shouldn't be telling you guys this, but we do have the next line of t-shirts and mugs, and maybe it's just t-shirts right now. We do have it live on the website, but we don't have a picture for it yet. Go check it out. Trump Vance, deporting families together since 2025. Go check it out, saramerch.com. Because listen, look, we need to normalize saying it's okay that we get criminals out of our country. We need to normalize saying having a law enforcement team that makes sure that we are safe, which is, of course, what ICE is doing, is good. It's okay. We shouldn't be rioting over it. We should be celebrating it. These people should be, they should be paid way more than they are. I don't know how much they get paid, but to go out and have to deal with this bullshit, surely it's not enough. And you've got governors of states who are coming out against them, mayors who are not allowing them in their cities, fighting with them, arguing with them over them just trying to obey and enforce the law, keep Americans safe. And yet, you have ungrateful little nincompoops like California Governor Gavin Newsom, who I just wonder every time I look at him and every time I talk to him, I'm like, is he the Antichrist? He might be. I don't know. He just looks way too slick to be so evil, you know? And so he gave this address over there in California, which, you know, they're still burning. He gave this address to California and to the country, really, because it felt a whole lot like an ultimatum that he gave everyone. Watch.
This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault.
What does that even mean?
Before our eyes. This
Democracy
moment
is next?
we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project.
I'm sorry?
3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility.
This guy is such a
joke. The
joke.
rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't
The rule of law.
die to see this kind of moment. It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency. And it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment,
Citizen?
we all need to stand up and be
Citizen?
held to
Hold
account.
on. Citizen?
A higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear.
Of
But I
getting
want you to
deported,
know
they
that
should.
you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
That is like some of the dumbest rhetoric I have ever heard. It's not the rule of law anymore. It's the rule of Don. Oh, really? Was Donald Trump the one that made it illegal for people to cross into this country unvetted and unchecked? Was that was Donald Trump? In that case, Donald Trump has been a part of the government for a much longer time than we realize. And yet you have this dope out there trying to be like, oh, well, these riots are going to go nationwide unless President Trump stops enforcing the law. Give me a freaking break. I mean, you have all of this lawlessness in Los Angeles, at least 330 illegals were arrested since these riots began, which is, I just love that, honestly. When I went to the riots in, the peaceful protests wasn't very peaceful. They told me that they hoped I got run over, which isn't really, I just don't think that's very peaceful. But that's what they said multiple times, tried to grab my phone. Very peaceful, these people. And, it's just interesting because I was like, you guys are illegal and you're out here like sitting ducks. I wish I had Tom Homan's cell phone number. I would call him and tell him what intersection to roll up on so that they could just go ahead and save the trouble of like trying to find you. You guys are all right here in broad daylight. So at least we have netted some arrests here. 330 illegal aliens arrested since the riots began. 113 of them had prior criminal convictions, but they're all just here for a better life. They're all just here for a better life. No. And you know what? I'd venture to guess that those who are just here for a better life are not the ones on the street corners blocking traffic. They actually maybe are at home, they're working, they're doing something a little bit more productive than burning American flags in the middle of the intersections where people are just trying to go to work. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and guess that, okay? So you have Gavin Newsom trying to act as if this is Donald Trump is being unreasonable, right? Let's look at all this violence. Throw up there we go. Oh, really? Is it unreasonable to say that shit can't stand? Is it unreasonable to say you can't just let people run the streets of LA, attacking cops, burning cop cars, throwing rocks and frozen water bottles at law enforcement, kicking out the windows of a police cruiser? But I'm told, I'm reliably informed by the Antichrist himself, Gavin Newsom, that it's actually Donald Trump who enjoys lawlessness and not these people. Like, it's insulting to the American people's intelligence, which, by the way, I'm not saying all of us are super duper geniuses like Elon Musk or anything. I'm just saying I'd like to believe that we're all a little bit smarter than Gavin Newsom would like to give us credit for. That what is this, a peaceful fire? It's peaceful black smoke. Also, probably the same people who are environmental nut jobs, who want to talk to us about climate change, who want you to drive an electric car and not a gas guzzler because they're very concerned about the environment, don't seem to be concerned about the environment when that black cloud of smoke is billowing into the sky. It's interesting how that works out. It's almost like these are just total mentally ill nut jobs just looking for a reason to start shit with absolutely no ideals, no actual values, morals. Just total psychos is what it feels like to me. So you've got, Gavin Newsom's talking about other states joining in. And even here in the state of Texas, you've got Dallas, you've got Fort Worth, one planned for Fort freaking Worth. There's one planned for over the weekend. Stephen.
Yes.
I might have to go to that.
When was that one?
I think it's Saturday.
God, I don't know what you're going to do on Saturday.
I'm going to go be with the demons on Saturday because we've got a lot of pride stuff that I have to cover on Saturday. And now they've got this. Sorry. I'll try to make it home safe. You know what? That's where I'm going to burn my Mexican flag. So you've even got Nancy Pelosi. Speaking of insults to your intelligence, you've got Nancy Pelosi, okay, going out there and pretending like you don't have the memory to know what actually happened on January 6th. And she made this stupid comparison between the riots that are happening right now in Los Angeles and January 6th. And of course, everything's Trump's fault because Orange Man bad, I guess. Watch.
In a bipartisan way, on January 6th, with violence against the Constitution, against the Congress, and against the United States Capitol, we begged the President of the United States to send in the National Guard. He would not do it. Not only would he not do it, when law enforcement people were being harmed, some later died, he would not send it in.
She is such
when
a disgusting
an instigation
liar.
that he an insurrection that he incited was causing damage to those assigned to protect the Capitol and the Constitution that day, to accept the results of the electoral college.
of the election, the 2020 election. He didn't call in the Capitol Police. It was his fault. And he's so quick to call in the National Guard. He didn't call in the National Guard on January 6th.
Nancy, we all know you're an absolute lying bitch, okay? Because I just want to, it's like, there's video out there where she literally took responsibility for not doing more to prepare the Capitol Police, who, by the way, remember, she was in charge of that. And we'll just use this as our first round of receipts here on who really was to blame for the National Guard and Capitol Police not being prepared for January 6th. Here's Nancy Pelosi admitting responsibility.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient
There's not a question of how they have, they don't know. They clearly didn't know. I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
I take responsibility. There it is.
I take responsibility. I was drinking too much Tito's. Didn't think about it. Was too drunk.
Well, here's the problem. The Capitol Police chief at that time, who, like, she was his supervisor and she shortly thereafter fired him, Stephen Sund, actually responded to Pelosi's video on X and said, fact, on January 6th, I was restricted by federal law from bringing in any federal support, including the National Guard, without first receiving permission from the Capitol Police Board, which included both sergeants at arms who reported to Pelosi and McConnell. And he has been very clear that it was Nancy Pelosi who, of course, obstructed this, not President Trump. On top of that, you had D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who turned down sending up to 10,000 armed National Guard troops to secure the Capitol building during the election certification. I mean, it's just like these are all just documented facts. President Trump tried to get ahead of it. They said no. President Trump warned her in a phone call and offered his help for any security that the mayor needed to make sure that everything was safe. He also was ignored by the acting defense secretary, Chris Miller, and the rest of the Pentagon when he communicated his view that 10,000 he's telling everyone at this point, we need National Guard troops to secure the Capitol. Nancy, we need them. Capitol Police, we need them. Acting defense secretary, Pentagon, we need them. Hey, guys, I really think that we need the National Guard for this. Nobody listened to him. And now they still go out there, they trot out there, and they still spew these lies and try to make it sound as if President Trump is the lawless one. This is absolutely disgusting, the way that they're trying to rewrite history. I just don't think it's going to work this time, especially when you finally have Congress at least looking into, we kind of talked about this yesterday, at least looking into who is funding these riots. It's not spontaneous. It's not like, oh my God, how did these cement blocks get on the corner of this street? There's another pallet of them laying right down over there where they want us to peacefully protest. That's so crazy how we just always pick these corners that I guess have construction going on at the time. I mean, these are all funded. It's not spontaneous, as Josh Hawley said. I guess he found time in between trying to raise the minimum wage, which is one of the most retarded things I've heard, to say that we are going to have an investigation now. He said, as chairman of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Terrorism, I'm launching an investigation to find out who is funding the LA riots. Well, we already know that you've got this CCP propagandist, Neville Singham, who is backing it. We already know that his wife, by the way, is the Code Pink founder, Jody Evans. She is also a CCP bootlicker as well. You've got the Coalition for Human Immigrant Rights. They call themselves CHIRLA. And they also, by the way, interestingly enough, donated a total of over $471,000 to the Million Voter Project opposing the recall of Governor Gavin Newsom in 2021. So when you could just to like connect the dots there, they support Governor Gavin Newsom. Okay. So maybe we'll find out. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we heard the name George Soros, because he always seems to be connected to all of these groups. But the question is, how does this end? And how far do these assholes go destroying cities before President Trump brings the full weight of the federal force on these people and says, no, we're not going to do it this way anymore? I want to play for you a recent podcast interview with President Trump talking about what he thinks, how he thinks Americans feel about all of these deportations, the rioting and the burning of our own freaking flag on our own streets while they are allowed to wave Mexican flags while cop cars burn behind them. Watch.
And the riots in LA. I mean, again, 75% of Americans polls show want deportation of illegal alien criminals. What are the Democrats doing defending them?
They can't defend it. They can't defend transgender for everybody. They can't defend men and women's sports. These aren't 90-10. These aren't 80-20 like they say. These are literally, I think, 97-3, most of them. They don't want people pouring into the country unchecked, unvetted from prisons and from mental institutions. They don't want this. They want their country back. They really want their country back.
Foreign flags. What did you think when you saw
Well, I mean, you had every flag up other than American flags. And I happen to think if you burn an American flag, because they were burning a lot of flags in Los Angeles, I think you go to jail for 1 year.
I'm not sure how constitutional that is. But, Stephen, were you the one that told me that they started passing out American flags at these protests because they realized that the optics looked like shit, that they didn't have any American flags waving?
Yeah, that was what one of the meetings I was in this week. They made that comment that someone got the order in because they started passing them out overnight.
That is so funny. You know that's probably correct, is that they were just like, oh crap, we look like shit again. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I know. We'll go buy some American flags for them to wave so we can pretend like we actually give a shit about this country, even though we are like trying to import third world criminals and keep them here. It's just not going to work. I believe that you guys are too smart for that. Okay. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel on YouTube, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Make sure that you smash the like button, or you can gently tap it. We all appreciate a gentle tapping from time to time, don't we, Stephen?
I'm not touching that.
That's what she said. Make sure that you comment on the show. It will also help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And I want to thank our sponsor this segment and bring in the panel after that, Birch Gold. So this administration, obviously, like moving at the speed of light, trying to course correct all of the crap that Joe Biden has thrown at this country. But when they're trying to, right the country, they can't also take your personal finances into account. They don't have like let me look into Joe Blow's portfolio to look and see how this will affect them. You're responsible for doing that. And that is why thousands of Americans are buying gold right now from Birch Gold, because here are the facts. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 30%. And you've got these central banks, they're buying gold in record quantities. So demand does not seem to be subsiding. Okay. You can find peace of mind in gold in times of instability. Also in times of just like gold is just always good to have. They make it over there at Birch Gold extremely easy to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. You can even buy some to store in your home safe. But trust me when I tell you, keep it in your safe, all right? Don't keep it out. Text my name, Sarah, to 989898. They're going to send you a free information kit on gold. There's no obligation, guys. There's no reason not to do this. There's no obligation. They're just sending you useful information. I personally have used Birch Gold. My family is a Birch Gold customer. They made the process very, very easy. Just text my name, no obligation. They're just sending you information. Text my name, Sarah, to 989898. Welcome to the show. We have Matthew Marsden, BlazeTV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along with Breanna Morello, the one and only beautiful Breanna Morello, host of the Breanna Morello Show, which you all need to be checking out. She's getting like all the freaking scoops. I don't know how she does it. She's everywhere all the time. She's probably watching you right now in your home.
It might be.
Just think about that, would you? Before we get into it, we just got the image for the new shirts. Throw them up there, Stephen. Thank you. Trump Vance deporting families together since 2025. Oh, check it out. Go get you one over at saramerch.com. I can't wait to wear mine all around town. So you have these riots going on that weird, I don't know when they end. I don't know when Trump finally says, all right, enough of this shit. We're just done. Well, I'm done here. We're done here. But I hope that it's soon. Although equal parts of me also are like, they did it to themselves. Maybe you just let it burn. I got in trouble from a couple viewers yesterday because they were like, I agree with you, Sarah, on all the deportations, but I live in California and I love it. And I'm like, well,
I mean, listen, I lived there for 20 years and I did look, I have to say that one of the frustrating things that I had when I was there was the rest of the country going, well, you shouldn't live there then. And we were like, well, we're fighting this. But then I did leave.
Right.
So I did kind of like get out of it. But I have a theory about this. I think that Gavin Newsom, of course, he has political aspirations, right?
Yeah.
He wants to be the savior of this. This is what it's all about. He wants to come out and say, I'm standing up against Trump. Do you see what I did? I stood up against Trump and Vance. And the whole place is burning down. Yeah. But it's because he's such a narcissist. It's all about him. Yeah. So, I mean, look, part of me is like, I'm sorry you voted for it. You've got to get over that over there in California. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I love you and all that, but
yeah, I just, the optics, they're never going to win with these optics. They're never going to win with people rioting, preventing people from, there was a video I saw yesterday of a young mom who gets out of her car in New York and she's like, guys, I just have to go to work. I have kids to feed. Please just let me through because they're blocking the traffic. And they're like, oh, work. Oh, poor baby. Yeah. And you know who it was? A bunch of white people, a bunch of loser white people blocking this. She looked, I think she was black, if I'm not mistaken, blocking a black woman from going to work to feed her kids. A bunch of white people who are protesting on behalf of, it's like, make it make sense. It doesn't.
Yeah, that video came from Savannah Hernandez. Yes. And it was so funny because here's this woman like pleading, saying, I have to go to work. And the white guy's like, oh, work? Yeah, do you know what that means? It's not just going to a protest and getting your Soros paycheck. It's actually going to somewhere where you're employed, like an actual service that you're actually doing. So they don't seem to understand that. But Democrats are really banking on the fact that they think that the American people are just as stupid as they are. And they're really hoping that's the case. Yeah. They are going all in on this, thinking that this is the right way. I mean, they're like, oh, it's not violent protests. These are peaceful protests. Just ignore the burning cars in the background. Just ignore the officers who are getting rocks thrown at their head. That's nothing to see here, folks. Right. It's egregious, but it's not surprising. This is what they did during BLM, and this is what they continue to do. And if we don't put an end to this, like opening a RICO investigation into all of these groups who are being funded through this, I have a feeling we're going to have a really tough next 3.5 years.
Yeah, I mean, because you have these people who very clearly, by the way, they're very clearly trying to distract from the fact that aside from LA burning, things are pretty good, right? Yeah. I mean, President Trump has course corrected so many things in a record amount of time. And then you have him yesterday announcing on Truth Social, our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. Full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities. Matt, which has always been good with me.
It's always been good.
We're getting
full magnets, not half magnets. We don't have magnets. Half magnets suck.
We're getting a total of 55% tariffs. China is getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. I love when he says this at the end of all of his posts. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love it. So you've got he's making moves and he's winning. Yeah. Especially at a time where, I mean, we just talked about, Breanna, you and I were texting about this, but we just talked about the other day, all of these Chinese, foreign nationals who are coming in with these dangerous pathogens are being found at airports. And these are, it could wipe out a bunch of our crop or a bunch of our livestock. And they're just oopsies getting caught in America with these things. And President Trump is like, I'm here to save the day. I'm here to solve everything, guys.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. The only thing I will probably push back on that post alone is the fact that he's allowing these Chinese students to come back.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's infuriating. I mean, we had 250,000 of them come to our country in 2024 as students, but they're obviously actors for the CCP, and they can't come to our country if they're not going to work on the behalf of the government. So I would probably nick that, but obviously that's where they're going to push back and not even work out a deal with him. But nothing to be proud of when we're bringing in these students.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And that's what we were talking about the other day is just like, our taxpayer money is going to educate these people in these fine universities, and then they're going to do what with that education?
Kill us.
Use it against us.
Yeah, no, it's
so
absolutely right. I mean,
we're paying for it.
But look, I mean, he can say that. The thing that I love about Trump and Vance and what they're doing is they're like, we're just going to do what we want to do anyway. So he's going to do this deal, and then he's going to limit the amount of visas that go out to Chinese students. I can almost guarantee you that's what's going to happen. But I do want to bring something up, Sarah.
Okay. Uh-oh. What? Am I in trouble?
No, we're not in trouble, but you and I spoke about tariffs on this show.
Oh, yes.
And everybody lost their minds about it. Everybody was saying, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. This is going to be terrible. Clutching the pearls. How many times did we hear this? Mm-hmm. And he just negotiated the deal. And we were right here and we said, well, actually, he's the art of the deal. Read the book. Yeah. It's right there. He's done this over and over. I don't understand. It's like what we have, which is a problem, is we have a group of people in this country that are so, being right is so important to them. Like, they make a statement and they do not want Trump ever to succeed when it means that they will be proven wrong in their theory. Mm-hmm. It's just that we're always right. I mean, I'm just saying.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Just saying.
I'd ask Stephen.
I was just going to say, ask my wife.
Ask Stephen. Blessing and a curse, right? To have your wife always be right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
hello, where are you?
Right about that, Stephen?
I agree. Whatever you say is right for her.
And I like how his voice comes down like a god.
Like, just don't hurt me.
Voice of God.
Just don't hurt me.
Yeah. Boy, this is how rumors get started. To your point, Matt, I don't profess to be, I'm not an economist by any means.
You're not a doctor either, but you're
not
right
a doctor
about the
either,
vaccines,
but I was right about the vaccines as well. But with the tariff stuff, it's just like, listen, I don't profess to be a tariff expert or an economy expert or even a financial expert. All I'm saying is I've watched all the other guys do all the same things for decades, and I've watched what it's done to this country. So I'm just saying, if Trump wants to do something different that like we have not done, let's just see what happens. Mm-hmm. Let's just see what happens, because we already know what happens when the other guys continue to do nothing. Yeah. We see what happens, and we see the trade, how screwed up it was. So, maybe we'll just let the new guy come in. He seems to be a really good negotiator. I'm just going to let him just do his thing because it's what we voted for, and see how that turns out. And funnily enough, let's see, President Trump's, what is this, another Truth Social post? CPI just out, great numbers. Yep. Fed should lower 1 full point, would pay much less interest on debt coming due. So important. So you've got, CPI dropping on earlier today. It surpassed expectations. And the left really, really hates, they hate that graph right there. The left really, really hates this because they want President Trump to fail. Yeah. They don't and so they want America to fail, right? And so you even have, I want to play this. Who is this? Who is this Congresswoman? This dumbass arguing with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over whether prices are falling. This is amazing. Watch.
In fact, we've already seen that prices are rising on many everyday goods.
No,
And they-
Congresswoman.
Please
today,
don't interrupt
today
me.
We had
The
a
time is mine.
1.1
The
increase.
time is mine. Please don't interrupt me.
And
I will ask you questions and I will grant you an opportunity to answer them, but please don't interrupt me during my
Made a
time.
statement that was
With
incredible.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please
Are
try
you?
to limit yourself
Are
to
you?
answering my questions. No, I'm sorry, but we get talked
Says
over
who?
all the
doesn't know
time,
that.
and I
you a
don't want
biologist?
that to happen at this hearing.
What is a woman?
Right. How could you? Excuse me, ma'am. If I can even call you that. Excuse me. Ooh, what do you say instead
thought
of
we
ma'am or
couldn't say
sir? What do you say?
I thought we couldn't say that anymore.
Well, what do you say?
It.
Excuse
Looks like
me,
an
you
it.
person. I don't want to. I just get nervous about. Well, I'll tell you what I said off air to get demonetized for a really long time,
Again.
but I'm not saying
Again.
no, I'm not saying that on air ever again. But they really, they just want to lie. They're like, oh, he's actually succeeding, so I'll just lie and say that prices are going up, even though they very clearly are not. And when you try to point it out, I'm just going to speak over you and accuse you of what, being sexist.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. That's the card you have to throw out. Because if you can't say the racist card, you got to throw out the sexist card.
And her last name was Sanchez, so she could have used the racist card.
That was the next one up if we would have let the clip go on, I'm sure. But we don't have all day for this nonsense. I mean, these people are such fools, right? Because he's obviously just trying to inject the facts to all of this, and she's shutting it down because facts are inconvenient for their narrative, and they don't like that. I love the fact that all these people who were once egg price experts have now shifted over to talking about these other topics too, because now they're financial experts. They were also vaccine experts. It's absolutely exhausting, all these hats that they put on, but it's funny to sit here and listen to them try to argue their points. They don't know much. And I'm also really annoyed with the Fed because the Fed won't lower the rates.
Yep.
And it's like they're holding the American people hostage because they don't want to see President Trump succeed.
Exactly right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny how the people, I mean, it's always on social media, right? And they always tell you how you are not an expert, but of course they are. Trump isn't an expert, even though he's a billionaire. At least he knows something about money, you'd like to think.
Well, they're government officials and they've spent lots of your money.
Well, yeah. I mean, but like this woman, it's funny because you see the pattern, right? Like you see the way that she is. It's this kind of entitled mentality, and you're seeing it now with a lot of the kids that are coming out of college, where like, excuse me, like, excuse me, I am speaking now. It is so infuriating. It's such this like elitist attitude, like, shut up, who do you think you are? And he's just like, the amazing thing that has happened since Elon has taken over X is that it has absolutely destroyed their ability for that soundbite to be cut and pasted across all the different mainstream media, because nobody cares anymore. Nobody's watching the riots on CNN. What's going on? Nobody's watching it. They're watching it on X. So what she's doing and what they've been doing, frankly, for years and years and years, is just being exposed, and people are just calling them on it. Like it's an abject lie. You are now telling me that when I went to the store today and I saw the prices drop, that these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Don't believe your lying eyes, Matt.
This isn't real.
Don't believe your lying eyes. Maxine Waters is here to tell you. Don't believe your lying eyes. There's no violence. So listen, maybe get your eyes checked and shut up. Okay.
And my credit card as well.
Yeah. They're here to tell you what's happening. I just don't think it's gonna work for them anymore. Now, I will say, I know we got to go to break. I will say the only thing that makes me nervous, I said this the other day, is that I thought that there was no way the American people were going to vote for them in the midterms after the summer of love had happened, and they did.
Yeah.
So it was like, rioting in the streets, burning down cities, transing the kids, I mean, you name it. And they had gone so far off the reservation. And I was like, okay, surely like everyone is awake. But to your point, that was pre Elon taking over X. Yeah. Things were still getting censored and hidden from people. So I wonder how much of that just with the censorship. I mean, even YouTube, right? Like, yeah. Every single social media platform was censoring and hiding things from people. So I guess maybe we'll find out in the next one how much that had to do with the last time we went through this, and the results were not exactly favorable for freedom and reality. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more, but want to thank our sponsor this segment, First Liberty. So They've got this case that they're working on that is absolutely infuriating over in Connecticut. This is the New Britain School District, and they are punishing a teacher for her faith. This is a teacher of like 30 years who has been banished from the classroom because she refused to remove a small cross from her personal space. This was a cross that had been hanging by her desk for a decade. And last December, without any warning, administrators confronted the teacher and delivered an ultimatum: remove the cross or face punishment for insubordination. Well, she didn't do it. They removed her from the classroom, they suspended her, they demoted her, and then they smeared her in the media. And, you know, if you think that's wrong, just like I do, if you realize that this is about protecting religious freedom for all of us because the Constitution is clear, you should be able to express your faith without fear of punishment, go show your support for this teacher and religious liberty. Tell the New Britain School District to stop this discrimination by signing the petition today over at firstliberty.org/Sarah. Guys, this costs you $0. There's no reason not to do this. Go show your support over at firstliberty.org/Sarah. Did you guys see mom and dad are making amends? Mom and dad are making amends. So, of course, President Trump said that he might be able to forgive Elon in this. We played it earlier with Miranda Devine over at the New York Post. We played a clip of that earlier, but here is Donald Trump talking about his relationship with Elon Musk. Watch.
You know, it is what it is that happens. Things like that happen. I don't blame him for anything. That I was a little disappointed.
Could you reconcile?
Say it?
Could you reconcile with him, do you think? Could you forgive him?
I guess I could, but, you know, we have to straighten out the country.
And Elon, earlier this morning, posted, "I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far." I appreciate that. This is the richest man in the world. He doesn't have to do that. I mean, kind of makes you a dick if you don't, but like, he doesn't have to, you know? And yet he did. And apparently there was a report that Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, had a phone call with Elon and JD Vance last Friday. Let's watch some of that.
Wall Street Journal first reported, and CNN is now reporting as well, that part of why Elon Musk backed off his harshest criticisms of the president is because he got a phone call from Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, and the vice president, JD Vance, saying, you got to fix this.
Yeah. I've spoken to a bunch of sources on this lately, too.
Have
and
you?
they've been saying that there's going to be an effort to create a reconciliation.
absolutely
So
no
it seems to be
chance.
happening.
Sources.
What does seem
Maybe he spoke
striking
to
me,
some
though,
Heinz
about his
ketchup.
message is that he wasn't specific about which tweets or posts on X last week that he regretted. Did he regret
I don't wanna hear from
suggesting
this
that
guy.
the
That's
president should be...
So I believe that Elon probably cares what JD Vance has to say. I'm not so sure he cares what Susie Wiles has to say, but I would imagine, I mean, he probably, as a billionaire, I don't actually know what it's like to be a billionaire. I hope to someday, still holding out hope. But you would imagine as a billionaire, you are so insulated from criticism all around you that like you forget that there are boundaries and there are lines that you can cross. And he probably I mean, that's the FAFO, right? He realized after he posted what he posted and continued doubling down on it. Oh, wow, that probably wasn't a great decision.
No, it wasn't. And it's unfortunate because Elon Musk and President Trump, when they're together, they are, I don't want to say power couple, but they're totally a power couple that everyone's afraid of because those two are fearless. And it's really upsetting when all the posts were coming out to see what Elon was saying. I wasn't thrilled with it, but I understand why he's upset. This guy has lost billions of dollars, and I get it. He's a billionaire, so like, what do we care for? But the reality is like, you lose a couple billion.
The money he earned.
Exactly. And the other thing too is, I mean, he probably can't even go out anymore. Probably can sit in a restaurant. The death threats are real. These lefties have been gunning for him. They've been trying to blow up his businesses. So his life has been altered significantly. So when he probably feels like they're not listening to him and they're not giving him a seat at the table, that's probably where this all came from. Speaker Mike Johnson is who I blame for all of this, though, because he did a really poor job with messaging and getting Elon involved in all these cuts as well.
Yeah, Completely agree with that, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I maintain. I think it was an emotional react. I mean, clearly it was an emotional reaction, but I think it was.
What was your first clue that it might be that, Matt?
As a woman, I saw all the signs.
Yeah, no, but I think differently about the money because he said over and over, "I don't care. I don't care about the money."
Yeah, but like,
No,
you probably care about the money.
But how much money is too much money? I mean,
Never.
Is it like
Never
$40
enough.
billion and you lose $2 billion? Oh no, what am I going to do? The dude sleeps on the floor anyway. Like he says that he doesn't own a house, I don't believe, or he bought
Well,
a
I think he
teeny
sleeps
tiny
on
house.
someone's couch. Does he sleep on the floor?
He said he slept on the floor in the offices or on the couch. Whatever. What I'm saying is, and you saw him in that interview. Do you remember? He sat there and he said, "I don't care. I don't care." So I have a little bit of a different. It's like I think it's a bromance. I really do think it's a bromance. And in the way that you said that he doesn't get out anymore, as I said on the show the other day, I think it's more of, hey, listen, we can actually talk on a level that not many people can, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, that disintegrated. And I actually think that when it comes to, there is a little bit of ego, right? But I think
1,000%. A little?
Yeah.
I'd say a lot.
But look,
between the two of them.
he did not have to do that. To your point,
No.
he did not have to do that. So I think that the phone call from JD was an open door to say, hey, come on.
Yeah.
No, and you just have to open the door a little bit. And Trump, let's give him his credit. The Trump of 8 years ago would have been, Elon, you're a loser. And he would have gone on and he would have been ba 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 ba. And he's very presidential there.
Yeah.
And we forget this, that the left wants Trump to have a meltdown. They want him to be, bitter and having a go. And he hasn't done that. And I'll tell you this. When mommy and daddy get back together and the photo op happens, it's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, to Breanna's point, I think the best messaging on the bill came from President Trump and his Truth Social posts, because I remember the only, he may have said a couple things, so I might not be remembering one, but he certainly did not go off on Elon like you're talking about. You're talking about him not doing.
Yeah.
But he did when he said something about, I don't blame Elon for, I'm surprised he didn't walk away a long time ago, but I'm not concerned with that. I'm more concerned with this because the tax cuts and the mass deportations and then he's rattling off so he did a great job of shifting the focus to, I'm not concerned about that. I'm more concerned that we make sure that American people pass this. That's a much better job of messaging than Mike Johnson's ever had on it.
Yeah, Mike Johnson's office, not the best. And it's unfortunate because...
pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried working it out with their office. You ask specific questions, they dodge it, they ignore you, they don't want to talk about it, and they only want to give you their talking points. And it's really unfortunate because we don't need legislation that's over 1,000 pages long. I mean, that's what we have right now with this big, beautiful bill. And it doesn't need to be big. Got to pick one, as Elon would say. But the reality of it is most Americans are fed up with this. We're tired of all of our money going to these things that we can't even, I mean, when you try to pick up a 1,000-page document and you read through it, you can't figure out what's going on in this document. It should be simplified. We don't need all of these lawyer verbiage being used. Keep it simple, keep it short. I understand everyone's frustrations on it. I've had enough of it. And Speaker Johnson's office, again, not doing much to try to make sure the American people know what's really in it. They're only highlighting a couple of features in it, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, well, and you also have to factor in that probably most Democrats in office can't even read.
Yeah.
So you're giving them 1,000 pages. They're like, I couldn't even read the first.
They get the crayons out, right?
Yeah.
They're like, where's the picture? And look, I think they should just go single item by single item. I don't see why they can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
do know why they can't do that, right?
Yeah, well, and there's a process because, for some things you can win by simple majority, and then for other things you got to get the 60 votes, and so it's.
Don't you be sounding like a politician, Sara Gonzales. You were
Listen.
accused of that the other day.
Was I?
Yeah, I know I was.
Well, screw those people. Anywho.
I like that vibe.
Anywho, make sure, guys, by the way, if you have not yet gotten your father something for Father's Day, first of all, go to saramerch.com and load up on all this base stuff that we have. But I don't know if you're going to get that in time for Father's Day. So also make sure to go to blazetv.com/Sarah, use code DAD30 to get a special father. What could be better than getting your father a BlazeTV subscription? Dad30, you will save $30 with that promo code over at blazetv.com/Sarah. Yesterday, before we go, we got to get to this. Yesterday, New Jersey Democrat LaMonica McIver was indicted for her role in the anti-ICE uprising at the Newark, New Jersey detention center last month. Remember, we played it, and she was very clearly, forcibly. She's not small either. All right. So she's like going at these officers, interfering with federal law enforcement. And, this is happening. Maximum penalty of 8 years for count 1, 8 years for count 2, maximum penalty of 1 year in prison for count 3. We love to see it. We just love to see it. And I just wonder how many other representatives, officials, lawmakers would like to take one for the team, volunteer as tribute for this weekend, because there's going to be a lot going on. We've got the military parade. We've got all these No Kings protests being planned. And you got to think that, one of these representatives is going to be dumb enough to show up and do something stupid. We've got the demonic festivals this weekend that I will unfortunately be attending. But point is, who knows what's going to happen this weekend?
I look forward to it. I look forward to Democrats hopefully getting arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. We'll see. DOJ, I'm not very confident.
Yeah.
But I would love to see some Dems try to get a little crazy. They do it for campaign reasons. I mean, we didn't hear about this congresswoman until she got there and assaulted federal agents. So let's see who wants to make a name for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, this is beautiful. They always called us the criminals.
Yeah.
And, because oh my God, January 6th was the worst day in American history, worse than 9/11 and all of these other events. Pearl Harbor, the Civil War. And so now all of a sudden, the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Except you guys were the real criminals all along.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, we've known that, they are doing what they accuse you of doing. We know this. It's actually
every time,
every single time. But it's amazing how gaslit we've been over the years that we're actually they're actually enforcing the law.
Right.
This is amazing. Because we're so used to seeing everybody get off all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm all for it. It's great. The country's really turning around, and we needed it to, because we were headed for a bad place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just the Democrats will say that this is President Trump, weaponizing all the things that they just did, right? Weaponizing the judicial system, all the things that they just did. And what's really funny about that is that this was a grand jury. So it's this wasn't President Trump. This was
Damn city.
I was going to say in New York. Was it New York?
In Newark, in Newark, New Jersey, right? Newark, New Jersey. In New Jersey with a bunch of Democrats, and they put it to their own peers. And they were like, hey, what do you think? They're like, yeah, she shouldn't have done that. We're done. We're done with this. So we love to see it. I hope for justice. Could I say that?
There you go.
I hope that there's swift justice in this matter. It couldn't happen to a more deserving group of people. That's what I would say. Breanna, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on X, Breanna Morello, and over at theindependentnewsroom.com.
Also, make sure I know where to find you on X, but also YouTube. Subscribe, Matthew D. Marsden. We'll see you tomorrow.